What is the scariest thing you've woken up to in the middle of the night? When I was 15, I woke up one night after our 21-year-old cat decided to sleep with me. She wasn't there with me, and I got worried. I turned my bedroom light on and saw the cat on the ground. Upon closer investigation, I found out she was dead. I was devastated. We had this cat since before I was even born, and she helped raise me like I was her own son. I couldn't go back to sleep at all. I just kind of sat around not really doing much besides bawling my eyes out. This didn't happen to me, but it's funny, so I thought I would share. My parents own a pizza cutter with a picture of Homer Simpson on it. It used to say MMM. Pizza. Whenever you cut a slice, but one day they washed it after using it, and the water must have got into somewhere it shouldn't have, because in the middle of the night they were woken up to distorted sounds of millimeter pi zzr coming from the kitchen. Voices. Loud voices. Stern voices. Coming from all around me. They are telling me to do something, but I don't take time to listen. I try to find the source, but they are coming from every room. I'm running around the house trying to find them. I can't. Are they inside my head? Maybe I should stop and listen. Take cover. A tornado has been sighted in your area. Please take cover. That was the night I realized the tornado siren closest to my then new neighborhood included a verbal alert. My husband calling me from a rooftop to say goodbye. I was able to talk him into telling me where he was and calling the cops while I raced there as well. It's been a long road, but it's been about 6 months since then, and he's in a much better place mentally. Still a lot of trauma to work through, but I'm very proud of how far he's come. We lived in a decent sized house in the woods. It was 1 AM, and I was sleeping in my bedroom which was on the 2nd floor. I heard talking, and I assumed it was my parents. I was not a fearful child. The dark didn't bother me, so I just sprinted as fast as I could downstairs, but totally silent. Once I reached the bottom I heard the back porch door slam close. I, still assuming it was my parents, ran towards it giggling. Reaching the porch I saw the door to the backyard was also closing. I ran to it because we had a jacuzzi at the time and thought my parents were out there. They were not. So there stood my 10-year-old self. I remember the feeling of the cold wooden deck under my feet, and how bright the moon was, and how quiet the night was, which is weird for us being in the woods and all. I was very confused and got really scared because my parents aren't the pranking type, so I quickly ran back inside and locked the doors and ran upstairs to see my parents asleep in bed. I slept with them that night. I told them about it the next day, but unfortunately I blamed it on ghosts, which made me lose any credibility that it wasn't a dream. Thinking back, I probably scared the living shit out of whoever it was. Imagine walking through a quiet, pitch black living room and a tiny creature with its arms opened wide runs at you dead sprint giggling. 2 guys talking out on my fire escape right near my window. It was summer, so my window was wide open, but it was pitch black, so they couldn't see me, and I couldn't see them, even though I was just a few feet away. I was about to cough in hopes to startle them, but then I heard them start to climb higher up and go into the apartment above me. Months later I hear someone climbing up the fire escape, but this time it was early in the evening, so I was watching TV. I go to the window to see, and it was just my neighbor. He said he locked himself out of his apartment. I didn't know him well, but I asked if he did this a few months ago with someone else. He said yeah, and we started laughing. Before I tell this story I'll say that if I'd want to get to my bedroom I would need to open 2 doors. First enter a bathroom then my room. So one night I was home alone with my cat, but he was in the living room. Then I woke up to a sudden sound of a door being opened loudly. It was the door to the bathroom. Then the door to my bedroom opens in a way someone would drop something on the handle to open it. My door slowly opened and I saw something small glowing eyes. Turns out it was my cat who was just hungry. He knows how to open doors by jumping on the handle and holds on it till the door opens. TL. Doctor, my cat opens 2 doors and almost gives me a heart attack just to tell me he's hungry. I kind of have late night hallucinations where I'm dreaming, but awake type of thing. A few of the worst things to happen was one night I woke up to something standing outside my room. It was pitch black except for my alarm clock, but I knew something was out there. Soon the thing starts charging at my bed. This was one of the most common hallucinations BTW, so I knew how to deal with it. I reach for my phone to turn a light on, but couldn't find it. The thing reaches my bed and trips. I see a human arm on the side of my bed and it's climbing up to my bed. Now I'm in full on panic mode cause this is the farthest it's gotten. Frantically throwing my arms around trying to find my phone, I finally get it and turn on the light. Nothing there. I have a lot more, but that was probably the most traumatizing. My mentally ill and drug addicted older brother holding a knife to my throat threatening to rape me if I told on him for stealing my money. I had saved up about $300 without him knowing. When my mom stupidly mentioned on the phone with him in earshot to one of her friends how proud she was of me for being responsible and saving that $300 for my own martial arts training equipment. That night my older brother snuck in, covered my mouth, and pressed a knife to my throat, and woke me up demanding the money, and saying he was going to rape me, and then kill me, if I said a word to our parents about it, and then made me get the money from my hiding place, and give it to him. I was about 10 at the time. I used to experience sleep paralysis hallucinations. I woke up to the purple, wrinkled face of an old woman next to me on the pillow, speaking a language I'd never heard but understood perfectly. I immediately forgot everything she'd said upon fully waking up, but had the sense that she was warning me about some serious apocalyptic shit that was coming within my lifetime, and how we had to take very specific actions very soon, if we were to have any chance to stop it before it was too late. Turns out I'd actually been looking at my red and blue plaid pajama pants wadded up next to me, and my sleep paralysis hallucination turned it into a purple wrinkled face. Do sleepy hallucinations count? When I was like 8 or 9, I had this dream about this dog that was formed of ashes or something like that. When I woke up, still shaking off my dreamy state, I basically hallucinated that same dog standing on the floor by my bed. It seemed like it wanted to hop on, but I guess that I was scared and shooed it away. It looked back at me one last time and made me feel really guilty, so I patted my leg to call it over. Its head then detached from its body, floated over to me, and faded into a human skull for some odd reason. I backed away, almost fell off my bed, and exclaimed at it that it wasn't real in absolute horror. Then it faded away. There was another time maybe a bit earlier than that when I woke up to swarms of spiders in my bed. I screamed and ran over to my mum's room, but it turned out to be nothing. When we came back, I don't remember what I was dreaming before I saw that. When I was 14 I slept over at a friend's who had a crazy old grandmother who was senile and pure evil that lived with his family. My friend and I slept on the pull-out sofa bed in the living room that night. I woke up around 3 AM to a shuffling sound. It was Grandma's slippers on the kitchen floor. I lay perfectly still hoping she would just shuffle on by, but no. She stopped at the foot of the bed, grabbed my foot, and tried to bite it. I screamed like a little girl and woke the entire house up. Never slept there again. I lived by myself on the ground floor of an apartment building in Fort Lauderdale. One night, around 3 AM, I was awoken by someone pounding on my bedroom window. It freaked me the fuck out, and the sudden rush of adrenaline had me jolt out of bed and shout "AI, I'll fucking kill you" to whoever it was trying to break in. My bedroom faced an lit garden courtyard, so when I pulled back the curtains, I couldn't see anyone. Freaked out, I took a lap around the apartment with my gun to make sure no one was inside. When I got to my bathroom, I quickly flicked on the lights and saw that my shower rod and curtain had fallen into the bathtub, and my stupid brain mistook this for someone pounding on my window. Thinking someone broke into my house and footsteps in the living room and kitchen with all the lights turned off at 3 AM, and dog freaked out and cried and ran outside through her doggy door. Turns out it was my husband, now ex-husband. He came home a day early and refused to tell me. He swore up and down he wouldn't be home until Sunday at 10 PM, but instead came home on Saturday walking around in the dark at 3 AM and rummaging around in the pitch black, and didn't tell me he was coming home early. When he was on trips I only asked that he let me know where he's going, what hotel, and when he is leaving and coming home. He didn't respect me enough to give me that. I called the police while hiding in a closet in the dark, and I ended up with 4 police cruisers with lights outside my house before I figured out it was him by him talking to himself in the dark and recognizing his voice. I never got an apology or better communication in the future, which I had asked for repeatedly. A close runner-up is all the times he woke me up from a deep sleep by screaming at me. Yes, he was abusive and a terrible partner, and I'm not married to him now.